Welcome everybody to the stream. Yes, I am murdered today. Just letting you know. All right, we're going to be getting into the first heroic division match of the season. Are we hyped? I want to see the hype in the chat. It's going to be a great game today, guys. We have BBW versus Keanu Reeves. And I think we're going to have one hell of a matchup today. Both teams look fired up and ready to go. The first map we will be looking at today is going to be Towers of Doom. Dun 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 dun. No, that is not a glitch. Both teams do not have workable logos, so they do have NGS markers up there. I'm sure it'll be nice and easy and hard to confuse as they do have different names, so you can read. But anyways, hopefully that'll be rectified next time. But the coin toss was won by BBW, and they took first pick. So we got map pick from Keanu Reeves. They banned out Sky Temple and Dragonshire, while BBW took out BOE and Volskaya, and that is how we arrived here at Towers of Doom. Now, let's pop on in and see what's going down here. It looks like we've got a off-roster sub. I'm not entirely certain what's going on here. Yeah, because I don't remember seeing this. So I'm going to have to switch up one of the player names here. I think we are missing Cindy Werbin. Team. Alrighty, I think everything is now all set up and properly ready to go. We're just waiting for the last person to get in. I'm quite confused by that. I should be live. I am. And we have 6 viewers in the chat, so I'm all good to go. Heroic hype, there it is! Key and Ryokai, thank you for shouting out in the chat. Still just kind of waiting on things to get set up. We are just waiting on one player left. So both these teams, I think, are new in NGS, although they are made up of players that have obviously been around for a while. So I'm not entirely sure. We might want to speculate in the chat to see who you think has the advantage in this matchup here. All right. While we hang out, I'm going to pop you over to this screen so you can't see what I'm doing. It's probably not allowed. That's right. Come on, where's that speculation? I want to see. What is everyone thinking this match is going to be looking like today? I'm excited to get into heroic, though. This should be the highest level of Heroes of the Storm that NGS currently has to offer. And heroic division is looking spicy this season. If we're about ready to be underway, we're still waiting on one left over. I think we were missing is Hashmer. Yes, so BBW Hashmer has not yet shown up. Waiting for him to pop in. And then we can get underway. Hopefully it's not too long, guys. I will switch this back to face cam in just a moment. Because I'm sure you can't wait to see my face back on the screen. So, Ryokai is voting Keeanu. Reeves is probably the favorite here, but a very close matchup. And I honestly agree. I think this is going to be pretty good. Ryokai should know, as he is the heroic division analyst for NGS this season. So, if anyone's opinion should be counted, it's probably his, and definitely not mine. Do 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 do. So I'm expecting a bit of meta bans to come out here in this matchup, as it should be at the highest level of play. I don't think Abathur's going to make it through the draft. It'll be hard to say if we're going to see Zeratul at all. Probably not. I assume Anubarak still remains. Yeah, well, I'm aware that there's not a lot of data to analyze. I mean, and that is always the issue kind of the beginning of the season. Unless you have previous season data to actually analyze, it doesn't tend to... you kind of have to just go off gut feeling. So how Murda-like do I look now in this year draft? Am I pulling it off, guys? Am I making it happen? I've been thinking about stealing this look. I'm wearing the hat because I hate my hair right now. And I'm not sure about the sunglasses because it sure does make it hard to see. And if it gets dark in here, that's going to suck. We got a big vote coming in from... Is it Big Beautiful Women? I thought it was Big Black Women. Terrible. Or no, actually what I thought it meant was beautiful black women. That was originally what I thought when I first thought of that, and then of course I messed it up because I read the other thing. Well, they're not going to Braxis, John Knight. There you go. That's one I like. Big, beautiful walruses. That's great. I like it. Oh, um, I was supposed to say sir, and I typed sire. Oh well, I'm sure Zine appreciates it. Basically, yeah. Oh, by the way, if anyone is interested, first of all, if you haven't followed the channel, I very much appreciate it. And I just got my affiliate status completely approved today. So if you feel like throwing in biddies or hitting the subscribe button, be my guest. It's the first day, and I'm excited. It won't just be casting, but I will be casting a lot. I've got 2 more heroic matches that I've signed up for on Friday. So I'm going to be trying to make sure that Heroic Division is the division to watch because I'll be here. Or, you know, because it's the best form of NGS HOTS. Whatever you guys feel like, though, I don't really mind. But it would be very much appreciated. I'll work on getting some sort of rewards for people that like to donate sub so that, you know, I'm giving back in some way. Other than my obviously winning personality. Still waiting on one. Of course. But quite legitimately, we are 15 minutes past the start time. Yeah, you know what? I don't need to tell everyone. Well, as I told you earlier or yesterday, Ryokai, you are more than welcome to join me as a co-caster. I will make sure we are all set up, and that would be an absolute blast. I would love it. Hell, if you hit me up at the start of this, I would have let you in today. Wouldn't have been that hard to make the adjustment necessary. But it's probably too late now because I got to set up the cam. Well, I mean, I think you're legally allowed to leave anytime you like Chaotic Order, as you're not part of the game. We did get a bit of a bump from Heck Boozled probably about 5 minutes ago, saying it's probably 10 minutes before their final guy can show up. So the buzzer warnings have been going out. I think we'll allow another 10 minutes, but that's probably going to be it. And we might have to look at the same or another disappointing forfeit to start the season. And that would be an absolute shame. So I sure hope that the final man can make it here, or we can buy at least enough time to give him the time he needs to get here so we can all enjoy the first heroic match of the season. BBW is the team that is missing a team member in the current moment. So hope everybody caught the matches to start up the season yesterday. I did cast a Division D East matchup. If you haven't caught it, you can check the VOD. It is here, but also on my YouTube channel, LD Ziltoid. And erase all the PS Ziltoids. It's done. It's over with. It's gone. LD Ziltoid now. But we will be, for the near future, until I can change my name again in a couple months, as I thought of something else that I'd prefer. But we'll see. I might stick with it. Might just stick with it. Might be too much trouble. I wish I had something to entertain you for the next however minutes. In fact, I am actually unsure what the rules are when it comes to off-roster subs. Probably can't just do it after last minute. Must be divisions below the division's upper bound. Must have Hotslog's profile. Yeah, they're still at 24-hour window. That would be awesome. I don't know how I would be able to get all the subs to show them without their shirts on. And that's also, I think, forbidden by the Twitch terms of service. But, you know, it's still a wonderful thought. And no, Human Balanced is spamming the rule sheet in the chat concerning Hotslogs, or the rule book over off roster subs. And it looks like BBW is now resorting to witchcraft. Oh yeah, I'm cool with it. You're posting in it. It's just funny. Keeping everyone informed. I like it. Go get her. But it looks like Heck Boozled and the Boys has gone to witchcraft, getting the pentagrams out, see if they can do a summoning ritual to effectively get the last player in on time. Play this match. But it is getting down to the wire, guys. I'm pretty sure 6:30 is probably the hard limit, and I'm not sure we're going to make it that far. So I'm really hoping that we get this last person in. Or it's going to be a pretty disappointing stream. I had all my memes ready. I'm sure my face being on stream is Are we allowing this? I assume not. See what's removed. So it looks like we are getting CTZRCKS in to actually sub here. I mean, to be fair, it is Heroic Division. There's pretty much nobody that's going to be too high on the MMR scale. They might be too low. Honestly, I think it's all kind of up to Keanu Reeves' discretion here, anyways. As the 24-hour rule, I think, still technically disqualifies them. But I'm assuming if all parties agree, there shouldn't be any upper issues, and we still get to watch a game, which is essentially the point here at NGS, is to play games and enjoy watching them. Of course. Hey guys, we're good to go. We got the guy. He's arrived. We are ready to go. Let's get this started. Alrighty, guys, we're going into the game. We're ready to roll. Let me get all of my stuff set up. Looking good, looking good. Let's go away. Thank you. Not sure why it was showing everything. Yep, pretty much, CTZ, you're gonna have to go throw some games. I guess those Grandmaster ranks are working against you today. Jesus. Anubarak is the first ban, followed by Abathur, which I kind of predicted, if anyone remembers, from half an hour ago. I did say those were probably the two most likely bans. We'll probably see Zeratul ban too as well, if it's not going to be looked at to be first picked, but I don't know. Dahaka is also a good one that removes another global off the table. And Dahaka's global is very good. Zeratul is actually banned, so Abba, Zeratul, and Nubarak, and Dahaka off the table. What is the first pick from BBW going to be? Anna is going to be the first pick. Oh, what I really need to do here. Diablo Genji is going to be the next pickups. We're looking for some nice fast rotations and early pickoffs using a very aggressive frontline combination with Diablo Genji. This is like the gank squad, especially when Diablo gets up to higher levels and later into the game. He, can almost one-shot people on the charge if they're squishy. Genji follow-up after that, pretty damn nasty. We're going to get Alarak and Chen as the follow-up to that. Alarak, I think, has been seeing a bit more focus since the patch before last that buffed the tanks. He got a few talent changes that have actually kind of propelled him back into the meta. And it was Garrosh banned. And Anduin is the follow-up. Things looking pretty interesting, and it's kind of sorting out the meta that we're kind of going to see at the highest ends of play. So Garrosh removed, as it's a decent frontline counter somewhat to Diablo charges, as it affects his mobility and kind of gets him into positions where he doesn't want to be. We're going to see a Tyrant and a Greymane, so we're really on that. Find a target, burst it down, it's going to die within seconds. And all that Tyrant and Greymane do basically amplifies that style of play. Looking for the last two picks here, we're looking for a main tank and probably another DPS. And it's going to be pretty melee heavy. And a lot of health bars, so it's going to be... And then there's Hanzo, which is going to be hard to get to. So they're going to be playing back with Hanzo. A lot of frontline. But it's not an invulnerable frontline. Anna's a great healer. But a lot of good focused dive from the side of Keanu Reeves could be quite effective in this match. And it is going to be Blaze is the final pickup. We are now into the swap around. That's going to be it. This is our teams, guys. We have a very aggro composition from the side of Keeanu Reeves, Diablo, Genji, Toronto, Greymane, and Blaze. And we have a very decent front line with 3 Combo Mage, Alarak, Chen Dive. I mean, there's a lot of damage coming out from this side. Alarak can really make things problematic on dive as those silences really kind of slow down the ability to get the burst out. That's a pretty good matchup. I'm interested to see how this works out. Do you think wave clear is slightly in favor of BBW, especially with explosive arrow on Hanzo? And here we go, friends. I guess I'm starting on the right side. We're going to go with the red team. We have Keeanu Reeves coming into this season. Nice lineup. Got UMN balanced on the Blaze, UMN A Blaze on the Tronda. Zenaris is taking the Greymane. Kelsier is on the Genji, and we have my pal Vince, Diablo. The right hand side of the map, or left hand side of the map, we have BBW, Hashmer on the ETC, Heckboozled on the Hanzo, Henshi playing the Ana, I Probe You playing Alarak, and Call Me on the Chen. Here we go. We have started. We are in the action, boys. We're going to see the first wave get super fast cleared. Back in Reeves, and in the early game with the Greymane, even with the Genji, they're going to have a bit of an advantage on there, at least until level 4 when Hanzo gets his Q. Kelsier taking quite a bit of poke damage in the first little volley here, but they do have the advantage on the rotation. It was only Alarak that was able to squeeze through here, through the front line, and he kind of got zoned off of experience anyway. So we're going to see a lot of aggressive play coming out from Keeanu Reeves. I do think they're going to be bullying these rotations quite hard, and they're going to be looking to get those early camps, even on the enemy team side. There's no global, and the early game aggression is definitely in their favor. Bottom wave is effectively cleared. Mid wave is effectively cleared. Instead of going for aggressive, we're going to see the safe side camps from both teams. Chen, it appears, is doing a little bit of double soak, or at least trying to be in the mid lane in case of invasion. So they were definitely sacrificing maybe a few points of experience in favor of being in a positionally sound spot so that they could respond to any major quick aggression coming out from the side of Keeanu Reeves. I can definitely turn down the game sound, boys. No problem at all. That doesn't cut it, let me know. It looks like we're seeing a bit of posturing here on the rotation. And they do change direction, and the damage is going onto Kenshi. He does manage to get away with a nice little peel from I Probe You. Alarak isn't just about combos. He has actually quite a bit of strategical value in the fact that pull is quite effective. I am going to bring up the talent screen, which I should have probably had before. And we are going to see the kind of new Alarak build being showcased here on stream today. Grenade build for Ana. Q build for Hanzo. More or less kind of the standard damage build coming in from Chen. But it is Hanzo who gets caught on the rotation here. Thought he was safe, didn't realize the gank was coming in. And that's going to be the aggressive side channel going to the side of Keeanu Reeves. Nice little bit of shot calling there. Seeing the vulnerability in the top lane. Hiding your rotation in the bushes. Allowing the other team to get a nice, easy, free channel on their side of the map. We're going to see a slight towers advantage for Keeanu Reeves, and being first blood. Nice pull in from iProBrew, just going over the wall, bringing Xenaris in. He really can't stand too much more forward. And that's pre-applied force, which is the next step in the Alarak build. And that's going to be pretty effective. So even more problematic as far as positioning goes. But the good thing for Keeanu Reeves, I think, in this matchup is the fact that they're not really about sitting back and poking. It's all going to be about trying to see if they can get any one of those targets mispositioned. We're going to see some aggressive play coming from BBW, though. They're going to push up here onto the shrine. See ETC eating a lot of damage. It goes a healing reduction onto Xenaris, and I think we're going to see a trade on both frontliners, but it's the Chen rotation that actually comes down and makes this a problem. And Xenaris gets out with the skin of his teeth as iProBrew was not able to land the Q, his Discord strike, on the pole. Had he done that, that would have been a dead Greymane. And this position would have gone a little more or a little worse for the side of Keeanu Reeves, but instead they trade out 1-for-1. And still manage to soak, so they stay ahead in the experience because of that. But the Chen rotation was very good, and I like his positioning here. He is willing to sacrifice experience if it gives them advantage in the team fight. It's a risky maneuver, especially if you lose the team fights. Xenaris gets pulled in, but the combo doesn't land, so he manages to squeak away and is now able to sit there and poke out on the ETC, and ETC cannot stand on the line and take a too much of the pull. But we just see a pull and a combo coming out to the my pal Vince, but it is the guy who wants to be CC'd. He does pop his spell shield to avoid some of the damage as well in the meantime. Washmere gets flipped, pull over, silence coming down onto Diablo. Big sleep as well onto Xenaris, and they get poked out remaining, but the positioning here is slightly in favor of Keeanu Reeves, as they're actually able to channel. But I think continuing to go for this channel is actually going to put my pal Vince into a really bad spot. We see a 4-man stun coming out from Balanced, but the kill was managed by BBW, and I think that's going to put Keeanu Reeves in a bad spot. But the stun from Balanced with the turnaround blast actually kills Chen, and Kelsier now is pressuring Hackboozle, but he trades out the kill, and that's a 2-for-1. As Hanzo also went down, he was stepping up to get the damage in. So I think this objective might go. No, we see the pull and the stun coming in from iProBrew, who's super low, and now Blaze, or just say Blaze, is doing his best to push. I'll just call him Blaze. Anyways, is doing his best to poke that out, but had no mana, had no health, had to pull out. So the Shrine channel does go to the side of Keeanu Reeves. Still a very close matchup in a lot of these fights. Very small windows, but it was such a good play from Balanced there. He did a really good stun into his Crossfire strike. And Crossfire does a lot of burst damage. People kind of underestimate it. It does quite a bit. And that's a fantastic engagement coming out from my pal Vince. And a quick blow up on Hanzo. He was not in a positionally sound spot. And that is exactly what Keeanu Reeves' composition is all about. It's all about finding those squishy targets, pitting them against the wall, and just blowing them to hell. Yes, that was intentional, folks. Alrighty, then we see the first tower go down on the side of BBW. Here comes the invade. The Hanzo has not quite shown up, but he is going to drop Dragon Arrow onto 3 targets, and it is Xenaris now that is in a positionally bad spot. Hashmer takes quite a bit of poke damage, but Blaze is also getting pressured. Nice peel coming out from my pal Vince, but now He's in a rough spot. Nowhere else to go. Toronto still goes down. Heck, Boozled managed to get the pick off. And now things turning terribly for Keeanu Reeves as they're going to get picked off there in that rotation on that camp invade. It looks like we're going to see things start to even up a little bit in the core shots. Experience is still needing to be caught up a bit by BBW, but taking down a few of these towers should manage to do it, as it's going to make the equalizer as far as the towers are concerned. So despite falling behind in lane soak, as Blaze has, or balanced at least, has in the top been doing a better job of that, but Malpet Vince is now isolated yet again. He gets pulled back in from the Alarak, but does manage to stay alive with no souls for that matter, which just is a bit unfortunate. Kind of one of those downsides to Alarak Hanzo. They have to pluck a while at Diablo, even in low health, especially with the spell shield. It can be a problem, but that's going to change things as we do get the quest completion from Heck Boozled, and that's going to mean he's going to be hitting for 100 more damage per shot, and that stacks up, guys. That starts to really hurt. Those spell shields aren't going to live through a consistent barrage. We see Blaze getting caught out again, and he's going to go down. The positioning is just so scary when you're dealing with an Alarak. You pretty much cannot stand anywhere without getting picked off. And Chen comes up here, takes out Blaze. Looks like he might even get the kill on Kelsier, but he manages to swift strike away and does not end up losing. And this game is turning heavily in favor of BBW. Lots of kills in that sequence, all places on the map. Unfortunately, I missed the Blaze kill, but I was at the time too obsessed with the current, the Tyrande and the Diablo kill down in the bot lane. So 3 kills. And that's going to give them a significant advantage here on the map. The tower is still there. We're going to see Keeanu Reeves sacrifice a bit of their core health in order to regain this structure, as control over this structure is one of the key points to victory on this map. So the defense doesn't quite rotate in fast enough, so the tower does go down. We do get the conversion coming out from Keeanu Reeves. Very well done for them. These pumpkins are going to walk in here, and as soon as this thing pops up, they're going to just go right in. So we're going to see if the kind of substandard wave clear here on the side of Keeanu Reeves is going to be enough. And that's going to be another 3 that are going to get escorted in. There's really not a lot of way. Diablo has a hard time standing in any position where he can get aggressive, as the Alarak is just constantly hitting him. Counter-Strike does go out, but it does not get procced as Kelsier actually misses the E. We do see a Dragon Arrow pop for disengage capability. So we do see Keeanu Reeves manage to win a small skirmish and maintain this tower here. It was a close thing, though, with those pumpkin sappers coming in. It got a little bit rough there. Yeah, that 1v2 Chen top lane was pretty fantastic and kind of showing some of the renewed vigor that this hero has received since the changes. He actually goes in, puts some pressure onto Kelsier. He has to E out. We can see balance back to his double soak rotation here, trying to continue to maintain that experience lead they've been kind of precariously maintaining throughout the match. But this tower is going to go down again. And, you know, they're finding the thing about BBW is they might not be committing to the double soak, but they're able to pick up the experience in other ways, mainly by continually converting this bottom tower. So the race to 16 is still in their favor. We see a double stun coming on Kelsier and Blaze. I'm just going to say Tyrande because we have a Blaze hero. Here comes the pressure out from Call Me, and he gets the pick off on Tyrande. She just can't deal with that much dive pressure. And BBW just walks out. And as we can see, Balance doing his best to stall this out, but he can't stand in this position very long. ETC is looking for that stun, but the cleanse is popped. And that's it. Cleanse is popped. So We have Keeanu Reeves doing their best to recapture this. And, you know, BBW just doesn't seem to care. I wonder if that's mainly because they know they're not typically double soaking. And they figure, well, we let them have it for a couple seconds, then we come back in and just take it back again. And then we get our nice little shot of experience. Although in the current setting, we do see Diablo getting pulled out of position after a nice little power slide coming in from Hashmer. And my pal Vince getting a lot of pressure. Kelsier tries to go in, but he hits with a Dragon Arrow to stop any of the major aggression. Call Me is now showed up, trying to disrupt this engagement coming out from Keeanu Reeves. They turn around on him, put a lot of pressure, and now it is Tyrande that's in major trouble if she gets picked by any means. We see Kelsier trying his best to put in the pressure to kill Hashmer, but it just wasn't not enough damage, and now Keeanu Reeves in a bit of a problem. But we see Zarnash get into the backline. He does manage to pick off Hanzo, but he's so low he can't really aggress here. So it's still a 2-for-1 trade, but my pal Vince is full health. Balanced is also full health. They don't get the pick onto Greymane. He manages to be in this bush here. And that's actually going to give him rotation advantage into the top lane. But there is still the problem of the 3v4. And so I don't think that they can be aggressive on this. So that is going to be another 4 shots. And that's going to take them down. And it's going to be 21 to 8 shots in favor of BBW. Still lots of opportunities. This is Towers of Doom, but we see Balanced also getting rotated on. He pops his Unstoppable and ease himself out. And that's going to be that. Now, the question that needs to be answered in chat here is, if you pop... No, never mind. It's a stupid question, and I'm not going to ask it. I know the answer. We see dive coming in from my pal Vince, but there is no DPS quite in position, ready to put the burst in. So the Genji engage does come down, but it doesn't do anything. We see Counter-Strike actually pop back, hits Diablo. Diablo pops the Lightning Breath, but the pressure is actually way on BBW, and they're actually going to be able to pick up those kills. Nice engagement coming in from Zinaris and Kelsier, just making sure that they finish those kills. And Diablo did manage to stay there, but he was unstoppable. So I thought it was a little weird, but he must have canceled his Lightning Breath somewhere in the middle of that during the pull. Only thing I can think of, because he's flat out unstoppable as long as Lightning Breath is. Pull should not bring him in. I'm pretty sure he must have fat fingered the R or intentionally canceled it for whatever strategic advantage he needed out of it. Probably thought he was going to go down so that he could reposition himself. But the counterattack with the Lightning Breath following up behind that was absolutely enough. And Zinaris and Kelsier, Greymane and Genji were able to get into that backline and actually delete it. And that turned into 4 kills. So this game that was looking pretty good for BBW has now turned on its head. They managed to take the mid fort after those kills. Balance is pushing in the top fort. And at the same time, we have a 4-man pressure coming in on the bottom fort. Now, Balance is making his way down here as he expects there to be a major engagement. Zinaris does get hit, but the cleanse comes out immediately. And they're just going to pull back as they didn't have quite the pressure they needed to bring it down fast enough. Balance does make the rotation. And we're going to see a 5-man defense here in the bot lane, trying to keep everything alive. But they're going to back up as the wave comes in and as theirs disappears. And they're just going to sacrifice the bottom fort, and they're just going to go take the mid fort. They don't want to fight into 20s, so this is a prudent action. Boss is still available. We're going to see if that is kind of the call here for Keeanu Reeves. And again, with 20, they can pretty much guarantee it. There's not really any way that they're going to contest. Now, they're going to sacrifice bot no matter what. So here, they're just going to grab the top one. They're going to grab the camp at the same time, and they're going to see if they can push up in this lane instead. Which, you know, is not a bad call considering there are no camps left in the bottom lane currently, and it's another minute to spawn on both sides there. So it's probably the right call overall. This has to be responded to. Boss is going to be taking very easily. There is no 20s, so there's no real chance for any counter engage onto this. I do think that they're going to sacrifice the 4 points, which is going to bring them much closer in score for this top defense. Since they're going to do a 5-man rotation for the top defense, however, it's going to be a quick rotation from Keeanu Reeves. They're going to go into the bot lane, and they're going to take it. Yeah, we got burn notice for the level 20. So 20 to 20, this is more or less what BBW has been waiting for. They have to get a team fight, but my pal Vince is waiting in that bush for that ETC. ETC can't just sit on the line. We're going to see the engagement coming in from Call Me. The rest of the team has not quite moved in. Hanzo and Honor are way far back, but the ult comes out from Call Me, and he's just going to start applying the pressure. We see a pull silence. Genji looks for a backline target. Doesn't manage to hit anything. So we do have Chen's ultimate. We see another pull silence, and Balance just getting pressured terribly by the Alarak, and also so's the Toronto. The bunker goes down and saves him, and now Iprobi in a bit of a bad spot. But it was Genji that got isolated in the backline. We just see the pull stun kill onto Alarak, and then the additional pick off by Zanaris onto the Ana. But the whole front line of Keeanu Reeves is looking really low at the moment. There are no heals, though, so any damage that is taken is going to stay, except for on ETC. He does have his own personal heals. And we're going to see Zanaris is just going to 2v1 this and kind of put the pressure in. He managed to get the dive and the kill on Hanzo. Hanzo does not have a safe rotation anyways, as Diablo is coming up from below. And the engagement comes in from Diablo. The power slide plus stun actually secures the kill on Diablo. And that's going to be a trade right then and there. We see Chen trying to do his best to get out of here in time, and he's taking an absolute metric ton of damage from Blaze, who's chasing him down currently, but he does not hit the crossfire. He might get the slow in on him, but the E is down. But I think he's going to go down here. I just don't know if he has the ability to actually get out of here in time. It looks like it's going to be a kill, and that's going to be Chen going down as well. That is the end of it. 4 men, basically team wipe. And now things are looking dire for BBW. The start of that fight was actually looking really good for them, but they managed to get those counter kills. That bunker was extremely well timed, kept everyone alive from the burst damage coming out from the Alarak, who was sitting right on top of the Toronto, and it looked like she was going to go down. So they're just going to try to escort this in. In the meantime, Balanced is in the mid lane, capturing that fort. And they're just continuing to apply this macro pressure. There goes the Dragon Arrow to slow things down, buy them a bit more time. Deadly Charge coming in to see if they can burn down these pumpkin sappers. Meanwhile, Blaze, Balanced is just in the top lane, pushing it in. Now they're on a timer. They either need to get this fort back, the mid fort back, or they need to go challenge. But here is the pull into stun coming out onto Zanaris. Counter-Strike pops out onto Blaze. We see the Genji engagement is enough to kill the Ana off. And what looked like a good start to the BBW's aggression in that instance turned very much on its head. And the counter kill coming from Genji right on top of Ana. Ana is super vulnerable to this aggression from both Kenji and Greymane, as they both have a lot of range in which they can actually get into and out of fights. It's a scary proposition. We see Chen trying to do his best to pressure the backline, but he is on his own. The heal doesn't come through in time. He does manage to get his ultimate off, which allows him to survive all that pressure. But I probe you now might be able to, but it wasn't aimed in the right direction, and Zanaris actually gets the kill, and that's going to be 4 down now, because Ana still was, but that's 3 in that particular fight. And they were getting pretty aggressive in that situation for those kills, and that's just going to be GG. There's your stats for the end of the game there, folks, for game number 1. Hanzo, 90,000 damage. Greymane following that up really quickly with 83,000. But definitely having a advantage when it came down to the kill count. Getting to that backline and doing what needed to be done. Genji also getting some really good plays in there. But it was a close back and forth game. Quite enjoyable. Definitely didn't feel like anyone had a solid handle of the game throughout the whole thing. It definitely seesawed back and forth, and that is definitely what you want to see, and especially want to see in your top division here in Heroic. So let me get back to And we're going to go to ask the guys. Now let me update our little thing here. We'll be going. Yeah, we had a lot of little individual plays that ended up being super good in this matchup. Like, it was super fun. The Chen 2v1 in the top lane was awesome. Got the kill, almost got the Genji. And then yeah, we saw the damage really carry things. At the end of the last game there. But I don't know. I think my MVP of that match, honestly, probably was Blaze. He made a lot of just fantastic plays. He kept the pressure up in those other two lanes so well in the absence of Chen, who was leaving the lane constantly to try to get pressure in the team fights. And which a strategy was working for a good portion of the match. He also had that awesome kill where he got the E into his stun, turned around and crossfired, got the kill off of it. That was pretty fantastic. I mean, just a hell of a good game, guys. I really enjoyed that. That's a good start to Heroic Division Season 7, Game 1 of the season between these two teams who, look, were just so back and forth throughout that match. Sorry about that glitch there. I had an encoding overload. Apparently, I was alt-tabbing too much through my screens. I need more. I need better RAM. I need a better processor. All that stuff. We are ready. We are ready. We're ready to go. Aren't we all? Hype. Who do you think is going to take the map number 2 in this matchup between these two teams? This is BBW's map choice. First pick will be going to Keeanu Reeves on Infernal Shrines. How does everyone feel that in the chat? Let's see the votes. The hype train. Right. All right, we're ready to go. Should be starting here right now. Let's see what we get. I'm excited, guys. Super excited. Zeratul is going to be ban number 1 for Keanu Reeves. They had the option to first pick it, didn't really like that option, so they're just going to remove it from the play. Makes sense. You don't want to give it away as second pick. Nubarak banned from BBW. Kind of more or less the same, not surprising. And Nubarak really enables on-point teams, and we saw quite a bit of that from Keanu Reeves to really get those engagements they want. Diablo is still a major threat too as well. I mean, he definitely put the pressure on as we got into the late game, as I kind of expected would happen, as Diablo does have that engagement. And we see the early Garrosh ban, which kind of announces that we're going to see probably a first pick Diablo if it's remain left up. Is there something else that BBW needs to ban here other than Diablo? Because that's, I think, pretty obvious. We're going to see the Abathur. Abathur does well on really any large 3-lane map. This one should be no exception. And so that's going to be first pick Anna. And because it is a first pick Anna, Diablo is going to go right to the side of BBW. Heck Boozled looks to be taking on the Alarak this game. Just, I'm hoping is what they're actually doing, and they're not actually, just swapping around at the end of the map so that they can make my life difficult. We see Mayav Johanna being the next step for Keanu Reeves. And it looks like we're going to see the Haka band. Yet again, global removed, not liking that extra fast rotation. Balanced, getting a little bit target band here on that Dahaka. They must know something we don't know. And that's going to be Toronto removed. Not wanting that combination of Toronto Diablo, which was very effective in getting kills into the late game, and even in the early game of last match. Ana was picked up on one side. It makes sense. Healer was still obviously up for the side of BBW. Stukov Gul'dan is going to be in the next pickups. For BBW. And Thrall is going to round out the draft. So it looks like a little bit of hero role swapping going on between both drafts. Junkrat is follow up to Maiev. Imperius looking for the extra burn down a front line. Pretty good into Diablo, I would say. He doesn't have a lot of mobility to get out of it. And here we go. Let me know how you feel about the drafts. I don't know. I think, again, like you should expect in Heroic, both drafts have merit. Should be a good matchup all the same. We have on the left side BBW looking for the equalizer so they do not go down in a 2-0 in the first game of the season. Very tight matchup. I probe you on Thrall, Heckboozle playing Alarak, Kenshi playing Stukov, Hashmer on the Gul'dan, and Calmy playing Diablo. On the right-hand side of the map, we have Keeanu Reeves looking for their first domination of the season in the first game of the season. Balanced playing Imperius, Ablaze playing Ana, Zinaris playing the Junkrat, my pal Vince playing Johanna, and Kelsier on the Maya. We're going to see a quick pull in and combo from the Alarak, but it is D'd through using that trait value on my pal Vince. And wave clear is going to go in favor, yet again, of Keeanu Reeves in the early game. So rotation has started first. They're going to look to disrupt. We're going to see a bit of the Qs coming out from Kelsier. He does have to be careful. Alarak can still pull him in and stun him from that angle. And they didn't really manage to be able to zone off any of the experience. That whole wave is actually going to get soaked up. So it's going to be even Stevens on both sides of the map there. Balance looking to pressure the Thrall out of the lane. Thrall wasn't going to be much of a threat in the early game until he gets the stacked. And then he should be able to actually somewhat trade with Imperius. But both are kind of slow on the wave clear aspect of things. And I would say kind of even when it comes down to the fight. So we're seeing, because of the camp pull, saw a bit of a rotation advantage coming in from BBW. You get the pull, and the Q is about to go out, but he gets hit by a mine, gets hit by a second mine, and then he gets pulled in by Kelsier, and that's going to be a dead Alarak. First blood going to Keeanu Reeves. Interesting kind of turn of events there, getting that Q cooldown, or his W cooldown right after he pops the hit for the first time. Alarak getting taken to Pain Town in that particular instance. See some of the early game damage numbers. And we're going to see the quick rotation here now on the camp by BBW. And they're going to get zoned out of some of this experience, I think, here in this transition. Diablo manages to charge in and get in there in time just to get a few of it, but we definitely see a pretty massive lead early game, half level already in the terms of experience from the side of Keeanu Reeves. Good pull combo. E to follow up. We do have Show of Force, so we don't actually. We took Chaos Reigns. Perfectly valid. No problem with that. Gonna be constantly, it gives you a little bit more burst damage. We do see the pull, but the I don't know, he seemed to be a bit knocked away and didn't quite get the follow-up combo that he needed to there. And Iprobi was actually going to be chased down and blown up there. Dukov not able to heal through the burst damage. We do see that Keeanu Reeves got pretty low, but they are the ones that walk away with the kill. And now Heckboozled gets stabbed by Balanced, pulled in by Maiev, and then blown up by the rest of the team. The BBW doing their best to soak any lane they can. There's going to be the jump coming in from the Punisher. It is Arcane Punisher, so it's going to do quite a bit of siege damage. But it is still an early level 1 protector. So, I mean, I generally think the scariest level 1 protector right now, by far, is the Frozen one, as it does freeze up your towers from doing any form of damage. Q is stacked, as it is Q build. We do see coming out from the Gul'dan. Engagement coming in from Call Me, but he's taking a bit of damage trying to push up onto Balanced there. And now Hashmir is a bit of trouble, but you see the pull in, but Heckboozled is on his own. We get a good pull back onto Call Me and Kenshi. Kelsey are just doing an absolute monster amount of damage on Maiev. Zenoris getting super low, almost goes down, manages to squeak away. We did get a significant amount of quest completion coming out from Heckboozled. Does get another double stun down and just barely wakes it out. So a couple really low health bars on the side of Keeanu Reeves. They definitely took a lot of damage from that aggression, but it was the 2 kills for nothing in that exchange. And that definitely favors Keeanu Reeves. So we can see a bit of sharking here from this bottom camp. Both Zenoris and Hashmir are putting in a bit of damage, poking it out, see if anyone's down there, but no one's fully committed yet. But we do now see BBW looking to grab this. They're going to sacrifice, again, we see this quite a bit from them, a bit of mid-experience to get this bottom lane camp pressure. Heckboozled does get hit by a mine and knocked up. He's going to be fine. Balance getting pressured, I think, looks like, in the top lane by the Thrall. And this is the thing, as it gets a little later into the game, Thrall's going to be able to put quite a bit of pressure onto him, as he also has a significant amount of single target damage. But what he does have better than Imperious by a pretty decent margin is actually self-sustain. And the burst coming in from those combos with follow-through is a lot of pressure to deal with and quite a bit of damage. I didn't see what happened, though, so I'm just speculating at this point. You see BBW getting 10s, holding this camp capture, and they're going to have that slight advantage on the camp capture in the top lane. Balance is going to have to take his time rotating down here, or he's going to have to ignore it. And I think considering BBW is looking to 5-man engage here, Balance cannot sacrifice that. We do see the W going on to Stukov. He is going to be isolated out. Butter pressure coming in from the side as Heckboozled was trying to get in position to do something here. We see Apok go down, and it is, unfortunately, though, Riptire, I think, that got most of the pressure done with the follow-up Qs coming up from Maiev. Does result in a 4-man team wipe. Well, it's not a team wipe, but a 4-man combo kill for Keeanu Reeves. Heckboozled just doing his best to try to put some pressure in. That sleep barely missing. He did get hit with that. Kelsier was definitely going to be able to get that tether on, and that would have been quite dangerous for them to deal with. But it is going to be another objective claimed by Keeanu Reeves. So we see the pressure being applied by the Punisher with the jump. This fort is most likely going to go down as they can't really step up to do a lot of damage, as they can just walk by the fort, as the fort has no ability to shoot. Frozen Punishers really amplify any team that's great at putting in pressure. Yeah, Kelsier's Maiev is quite scary looking at the moment. It's been putting a lot of pressure onto this team, and the amount of AoE damage he's been able to put out. Let's actually pop up the damage numbers here. And yeah, he is right now on his team top damage, but it's super close between it. And you actually want to see that from DPS pairings. You know, sometimes it depends on the hero balance. And I do expect Junkrat, as it gets later into the game's damage, is going to... is going to outclass it. And it already is starting to. But Kelsier's been keeping up really well. You know, second and third highest damage in the game. And considering they have 13s, they're just going to have kind of free reign of the map control at this moment. Until 13s are gained by BBW, they just basically have to play on the back foot. But they do get caught a little bit out of position. It looks like Kashmir's in a little bit of trouble. He does drop the fear, but he only hits Johanna, and that's actually going to turn into a kill. Here comes the Sundering. They're trying to burst down the Maiev. The silence does come in. The counter-strike does come in, but it's just not enough damage. And unfortunately, things turn terribly for BBW in that exchange. And that's going to be another fort for Keeanu Reeves with that kill on the Gul'dan. The map control, we're going to see a bunch of top lane pressure coming in as there's a free wave sitting up here ready to move in. Elsewhere's going to dump all of his damage onto that and try to escape out, but he does not have any mobility. Unfortunately, they punish the Junkrat, who does. I don't know if they just didn't see him use his E. Ana, though, in a big trouble, and that was the first really good engage we saw from BBW in this fight. Call me getting super low, but the pickoff was there, and that is what we need to see from BBW if they're going to get back into this game. The pressure onto Junkrat was good. He did manage to mine himself out, but unfortunately the retreat was too slow. And that's a great combo coming in from Heckboozled, finding the pull in plus the stun, and followed up with a great engage coming from Call Me, and that's going to be 2 kills. And 3 kills. And now Johanna is in a bit of trouble. I don't think she's going to get out of here in time, and that is going to be probably 4 kills. Things have turned. We have a game, boys. BBW comes back swinging and says, "We will not go quietly into the night." And say no, no. We have a game. So bot lane and mid lane are pushed up pretty hard because the slight bit of catapult pressure that does spawn now from taking forts. They are still behind when it comes down to the level 16 talent, and they have just barely started on the shrine, so we might still see Keeanu Reeves make a counterattack here on this top shrine, especially since Thrall is split. It looks like they are trying to push up quickly, trying to get positioning here. Thrall's going to have to clear out that bottom lane and then beard line at the top because they don't really have a choice. They do have a 20 skeleton lead on this, but they do not have 16. The Thrall might hang out in this mid lane just to see if they can snag that 16. But the shrine clear is going to be fast. I mean, Maiev, Junkrat is not that slow when it comes down to it, as they have a lot of good AoE damage. And Gul'dan gets caught out of position. He does manage to dive out of the Warden's cage. Call Me gets pulled into it and just gets ping-ponged everywhere, but he's full cells. So we're going to see the fight. Kelsier gets a 3-man tether, but gets feared into the fort. He is now in a terrible spot, and it looks like things are actually looking pretty bad for I Probe You. He's the one that gets isolated by Wrath of Angiris. Grabs the Thrall, pulls him out of position. The counterattack is not there. Reducing engagement coming in here and a silence follow-up. It is balanced, looking really low. We get the actual quest completion onto Zenaris. Call Me is just in this backline, making things hell. APOC goes down. We see a lot of pressure onto my pal Vince, and it looks like he's gonna get bursted down, and that fight just turned around on its head. So now we're 1 for 1. Taps coming in, re-engagement probably there, but the thing is the only one with an ult ult is off the table. So it's just pure abilities here. We see the engagement coming on to call me. He's actually getting bursted down pretty hard, and he's gonna go down, and that's another kill. But it is 4 remainder for the side of BBW. There goes the silence onto him. The damage being pushed out. He has to pop himself out of there. Anna keeps him alive, but I Probe You is here. He is going to see if he can snipe the last bit, but I think Junkrat's going to be clear this up. We do see the engagement coming into unbalanced. He does go down, and they managed to get the objective. This is completely unprecedented. This team fight went way back and forth. Look at the experiences evened out almost completely. Actually, I think it's still kind of in the same area it was prior to that fight when they were 16-15 switched out. But they do manage to get the objective. They do get the final kill onto balanced. And that is going to be the first real shine of life, the first objective capture for BBW. I mean, both games, these things have been just brawly as hell, and just it turns so much on the dime. They're getting a lot of pressure here on this keep. It doesn't look like they think it's enough to bring it down, though, so they are going to back out. But, and I think because their bottom keep is actually looking like it's going to go down. Gul'dan in for the win. We'll see. He's got to clear this out. One line of Q should kill it. And then he should be able to just burst down that, yeah, there we go. But the engagement with the Gul'dan rotation is noticed, and now we are seeing the pressure coming in onto Call Me. He's going to go down, and that is a dead Diablo. So map control, because of that threat onto the keep, goes in favor of Keeanu Reeves. Despite the objective win, they still have an experience advantage. They're going to see if they can snipe this bottom keep with the man advantage they now have, which I think is the right call. Junkrat can siege from afar. Johanna can eat some of the damage, and they just don't really have anything that can stand on the front line safe enough to keep this keep alive. So first keep is, in fact, going. Go. Keeanu Reeves. But they're still not out of it yet, and if we notice here in the top lane, we might get a similar situation here in favor. As this is just about to siege yet again, and no one has made a rotation top yet. So I don't know if this will steal the keep on its own, but it might if there's no response here. In fact, I actually think it might. Balance does show up. Okay, so it's still alive. It's a similar situation, but 20s are about to be gained by Keeanu Reeves, but this camp does get taken. So they cannot mount or set up here for an engagement. They'll have to clear their own camp and then clear it up and then pressure the top lane. But I just don't think BBW is going to take the bait. So they do full 5-man rotation here in the bot lane to try to get that soak. Obviously, we see Keeanu Reeves looking for that 20 fight. Nowhere really to pressure on the map, and they didn't get their own camp, so this is actually going to start pushing into the keep. We do see the backs, though, coming in to make sure that that doesn't happen. So they'll probably clear this, grab their own camp, and they're just going to have to concede 20-20 fight, which for Keeanu Reeves is not what they wanted. But advantage for Keeanu Reeves is its bot lane. There's still a fort, still a keep in the way. Can't say the same about BBW, and they're actually going to look for a rotation up here. They do see balanced. He gets caught in a rotation, and he's down. That is a kill for BBW, and that is going to set this whole thing on fire. I don't think that Keeanu Reeves is going to risk this fight. They don't have to. They have a fort and a keep. That's enough time to buy. They might be able to stall out. But I think if they get caught in another slam by Diablo in that kind of gank position yet again, it's going to be over. This bottom lane does need to be cleaned out. I think they are kind of trying to bank on the fact that this needs to be done. And they're hoping that they'll pull back in time. What I think BBW should do here, get to 39. Go back, clear out the structures, then push forward. You have all the time in the world. He was going to be up for the defense anyways. It doesn't really matter. You can kind of guarantee this objective in your favor. They instead send Thrall back, and that is going to signify to oh no, there goes the disengage coming out from Kenshi. He almost got pulled in by Kelsier. That was looking almost scary, but they do exactly what I thought they should do in this instance. Since they had to clear the lane, you might as well just go to 39. I would have said just send everyone back, clear up the lane to where it needs to be, then push forward. Because while they do have an objective, and it is a frozen Punisher, so that might actually make this not as big a deal, they don't have a wave. And they did have to sacrifice that top fort, which could also end up being a sacrifice keep. So I think BBW is going to be super anxious to see if they can find a kill here on this push. They don't only want the keep, they probably want core. But Keanu Reeves, understanding this, says, you know what, we're not going to give them anything free. We're going to let our top lane push out. I think BBW just needs to accept what they can get out of this. But I mean, it is a frozen Punisher. Pressure is in. It's still very much alive. It can't core. And I don't think they can get the keep. So they're going to have to send somebody top anyways to deal with that. I think they could have made that call a lot earlier. And yeah, I mean, things are still looking pretty even overall. But this camp definitely needs to be cleared up. And it does manage to get the front wall in the top lane. And that can be problematic. But there is already a win condition in the bot lane already opened up. And considering they did not lose a keep on the opposite side here for Keanu Reeves, that's still going to be a bit of a problem lane here for them. Every third catapult is going to be somewhat of a saving grace. And BBW did a good job of making sure that there wasn't any mid camps that they could pressure up. And we are going to see objective top. They're sharking around for another one of those pickoffs. Although this is a pretty precarious position because Diablo's up here, but the rotation is coming in here. So, you know, quick engagement there could have been a scary proposition if they understood or knew where they were. They're going to back up. They're going to clear up their camp. They're going to take a defensive position. But really, Keanu Reeves just has to wait. But they are going to look to engage in here. They're going to force the camp to be taken earlier than needed, but it is a top lane spawn. We're probably going to see someone wander down to clear out this bot lane. Because that's the problem with camps when you have no keeps. And with that rotation, they're going to say, hey, look, here's an engagement. Blessed Shield misses. The pull does come in, but Hellgate is used to get out. Balanced in a big problem now. He gets slammed against the tower and goes down with the combo from Heckboozled. And what looked like an actually good aggression coming out from Keanu Reeves, a couple mechanical misplays actually turns this against them, and they lose a hero. This bottom lane is still a problem, but it looks like they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of bot lane pressure on the core to see if they can steal this here camp and push in the top lane and grab their own keep, their first one of the game. But yeah, I think they're gonna have to send Thrall back. Oh no, Heckboozled goes for the risky play. Manages to stay alive with last laugh. Oh man, was that a scary proposition there. This bottom lane's a problem. This is top lane. Any extended fight up here is problematic. He's just going to try to clear out the catapults, but there's another one on its way. That's not going to buy them enough time. Here comes the Blessed Shield onto Call Me. He's full souls, but the real problem there is Stukov got caught out of position with a really good flank from Kelsier. And that's going to kind of nail it in the coffin there for BBW on this objective. That pickoff there is kind of a problem. It looks like they're going to just commit to the fight without him. And I just don't see the wisdom in this. They do have the burst damage. You see the aggression, but it looks like Column's going to sacrifice the souls to get a little bit of pressure, and then he does Hellgate out. APOC goes down. Heckboozled in a really bad position. And I think things are just going from bad to worse here. Nice heal from Heckboozled, but it's not enough. And what was looking like a really close game is kind of having a semi-anticlimactic change here. Defense is still possible, but it's going to be a rough 2 down. I think this is an Arcane Punisher as well, which means pressures... No, it's a Mortar Punisher. Still, it slows and does a lot of damage. They could save this game. They might just get lucky enough to save this game, but it is going to be a late 24-minute Punisher. Just quite a bit. And still 20 seconds on Heckboozled and Hashmer to get back up. Kami still has his souls, though. He managed to not lose them in the last confrontation. Gonna get poked down a little bit. And the problem here is this Punisher is going to give them the engagement they're looking for. 3v5, really good disengage there. And it looks like Kelsier's in a bit of trouble. But those Q combos are really hurting. Roby looking for the pressure onto Kelsier. He manages to get himself away. Alarak has to last laugh out. This objective does get pulled into the mid keep, though. Buys him a little bit of time. No one has died so far. Roby looking to heal off of his Q. Does get a little bit of counter damage popped in his way. They're doing a really good job pulling this thing off of the keep. Or off of the core. There goes the Riptire onto Kami. He goes down, sacrifices his souls to look for an engagement here, because this thing is slowly going down. Punisher, this late in the game, is still doing an absolute monstrous amount of damage, and I just don't think it can be stopped, and that's going to be the end of the game. Well done. Keeanu Reeves pulls out the 2-0 victory. And that's all she wrote, guys. End of the game right then and there. Junkrat definitely was able to ramp up the damage after that. Obviously, Mayav tends to fall off into the late game, but still a respectable 55,000 damage. I mean, I think she pretty much did the 3rd highest in the game, and that is very good. Definitely made a lot of good plays here. Mayav early game was a major factor, but Junkrat really kind of clutched it out at the end there. We saw some great plays coming in from Heckboozled, though. Call Me at one point was just this unkillable monster backline diver that was just destroying things. Give you guys a bit of a preview of the talents for half a second here. Now look to get a quick interview here. Well done, well played. That's incorrect.
Hello there.
How is it going? Congratulations on the win. 2-0 victory to start off the season. How you guys feeling?
We're feeling pretty ecstatic right now. We acknowledge that we messed up quite a few times there, especially when we all got picked off one by one in Infernal Shrines. And the mid game wasn't too smooth for us on towers either, but we managed to clutch it out, and the team's really happy about it.
Towers of Doom was pretty brawly back and forth. I will admit that it looked pretty, it looked pretty much up in the air on exactly how that was going to fall out. But I think the Blaze kept you guys in the game, and the soak and the kind of off lane pressure, and a lot of that kind of ended up stacking up against BBW when they started losing those late game team fights. How did you guys feel about your composition into their composition? As it was very much bursty. Looking for those pickoffs. They had some pretty decent answers into Alarak, Hanzo, and particularly Chen. was making some waves there. Were you guys feeling confident into the draft that they took up, or what do you guys think about that first game kind of matchup and how you were feeling going into it?
We did have to acknowledge a couple of things that, well, let's see. Chen isn't really able to out double soak the Blaze. So we had a lot of confidence in him, just like out soaking and establishing a lot of pressure on the top and mid lane. Although he's not really able to win that 1v1 fight just because Chen's essentially there for brawling him. The early to mid game was a little wonky just because like their team is really good at establishing a lot of pick opportunities. I had way too many close calls there, honestly, but later on, it's still easily punishable though, because if they don't land the slide or the all-around combo that they need, then me and Genji can just like punish that entirely for them overextending and for them not having any cooldowns. Like they didn't really get a whole lot of good moshes on. Their poles were good, but like when we survived, we just like cleaned up as much as we could. For example, when it was a 3v3 around the mid lane or the mid temple rather, and I was on the ETC and Hanzo during that entire time, just like making them back off, and I just finished off the Hanzo myself.
Yeah, and definitely, a little rocky at first, but you guys started getting those backline pickoffs, and it just happened more and more, and they just had nothing to really deal with the pressure that was being applied by that much dive. And I kind of pointed that Ana was really exposed in a lot of those fights as she,
That's true. Their
she was
backline was just overstepping a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, not a lot. Like to be fair, they did have to like sort of follow up on the picks that
Exactly.
ETC and Chen were trying to do, but that's just like a huge gap that you kind of have to work with.
Yeah. Game number 2, it looked like you guys had a bit more control going into it through most of it. Like you said, there was a few areas where rotations just cost a couple picks, which is where BBW is reestablishing kind of back into the game. But overall, it looked like you guys had a pretty good handle on it. Maya value is extremely good all game, especially the damage output early game. But the Junkrat really seemed to clutch it out in the back end there. Were you a little bit afraid you guys were giving away too much in that game to BBW in some of those instances?
Yeah. Generally, our game plan for that was just to play mildly safe and be able to rotate them, out macro them, and just like catch their rotations as well, which we did. Aside with that, like the early game picks that we got with Maev and the Junkrat mines were super helpful, and it just snowballed into a 3-level lead at one point. But it is true that like when we got picked at our top fort, we had a bit of a worrisome moment, but we established like right after we got picked that we just needed to calm down, get back on the right track, and just play it out because we still had an XP lead at that point. And it's not like we're gonna lose a whole lot just because we got picked out before the shrine even spawns. Later on, when the late game kind of just like narrowed down, the enemy team played pretty well in terms of like when we have 20, you just kind of have to play safe, look for a chance to like not fight, and just soak that 20 passively. They got some pretty good picks on Imperius, which again, like there's a bit of stuff that we didn't respect on our part. Like we didn't really respect the All-Rock pull again, even though we had that last game. The Diablo was really good with his picks as well. I got caught off guard that first time I died, to be honest. But later on, even though we had Imperius down at one point, we saw them split because they were also trying to address the really pushed in bot lane. We took a fight then because we knew it was going to be a 4v4. We got a pick, we got out, and as long as we could keep that one-man advantage, which we did for the most part, then we could just snowball it from there and then end safely with the Punisher.
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention about that game in particular was that bot keep snipe that you guys managed to pull off actually kind of helped you manipulate the rest of the end game rotations in your favor, which allowed you to kind of get those pickoffs that threw them off on the objective, and I think really ended up kind of recovering and securing the game for you at the end there. So really well done leveraging that in your favor and kind of making sure it was you were manipulating the movement of the enemy team into positions that you could take better engagements off of instead of kind of getting engaged upon, which was where the troubles really started. But very well done. You guys managed a 2-0. I would say the domination belies the challenge. I think it was a close game on both sides in both games. But you guys do manage to secure the extra point. And how are you guys feeling going forward into the season? Do you feel like things are looking pretty balanced? Are you excited for the next matchups coming up? Who are you watching out for?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Later this season is going to be really interesting, to be honest, because I know there's a lot of good teams out there. BBW is pretty good, but I'd say like they're kind of in the middle of the pack because they do have like a bit of I'm not sure if they have a new roster or not, or like a couple new members, and they might be also getting used to that. It's the same case with our team, but we also have some other people to face, like Celeb Gaming is definitely one that we have to keep an eye out. I've scrimmed them before in the past, and they tend to run some weird comps that a lot of people usually aren't prepared for. Like, who's even really ready to face us tomorrow these days? They just banned it out.
It's definitely more frequent. A lot of players seem to have started to pick it up across divisions. Actually, quite surprisingly, for such a difficult hero to master. He definitely makes you have to rethink how to approach drafts on a pretty regular basis. So definitely is a major threat. They also like to run things like Mephisto, which a lot of teams don't have a lot of experience playing into, and that can sometimes catch you a bit off guard. So yeah, I mean, I am super excited. This was a great first start to the Heroic Division. I can't wait for more. I'll try to catch some more of your guys' games in the future. Well done tonight. Do you have any shout outs before we go?
Well, I just want to shout out to all the viewers that you guys are all breathtaking. Also, well played by the enemy team. It was just like they made a lot of good plays throughout that I didn't expect. And yeah, just respect to them. They, like, aside from being like too old and everything, if they just like play it out more, they definitely have like a really good future ahead of them. I can see them getting like top 3 even. Aside from that, I don't know a whole lot of other teams out there, so our team is gonna have to like try and prepare in advance for that, and we'll definitely try to run some weirder comps that everyone else has to adapt to then.
All right, throwing down the gauntlet. Thanks, Ian. I appreciate you coming in here and chatting it out with me. Congratulations on your win. We'll catch you next time.
My pleasure. Catch you too.
Slow transitions. That's going to be it for me, folks. Thank you for showing up. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to cheer or subscribe or follow if you haven't yet. And we'll keep this ball rolling. You'll see me back on stream yet again, possibly tonight. I might be streaming during or after my scrims. But for the next casts that are going to be coming up, I'm booked in Thursday, as I have my own match tomorrow, so I won't be casting tomorrow. Thursday, I'll be doing a Paraloot versus Plugwalk, I think. And then Friday, I'll be doing the 2 Heroic Division matches there. So definitely show up, catch me on that stream. It'll be a blast. I imagine this was a fantastic run, and I can't wait to see more. Heroic Division is going to be so fun this season, guys. So definitely get in there, show up, watch the screams, cheer. Let's make NGS the best community there is. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.